Camp of Champs is a charity that works from Banning to Brawley to Palm Springs to 29 Palms. And we go into the schools, elementary schools. We set up a 21 sport setup for the kids. They get to get out of class, experience a sport that they may have never tried before, whether it's football, baseball, lacrosse, soccer, hockey, whatever. And then, so they get the thrill of learning that. And then what happens is the principal sets a goal for the kids. It's an 8-week goal. And then it's academic, behavioral, whatever they're struggling with. And then the kids that have achieved the goal in that 8 weeks get out of class a second time. They get to go to Camp Champs for a second time. The third time we come back to school, they earn their swag. So they earn their t-shirt, their water bottle, their soccer ball. And this year we're close to reaching 60,000 kids throughout the Coachella Valley. So we love it.
RJ Alvarez, Desert Chapel High School. Left guard, nose tackle. GPA 3.0, height 6'1.5", weight 280.
What did you learn today?
I learned that it takes work to be a great football player, and if you strive for it, you'll succeed.
I'm Frankie Kidd. I'm a freshman at Palm Springs High School, and I play running back and linebacker.
What did you learn today?
A lot of footwork and core stuff, and to make sure that you work on your hips because that's the most important thing.
Hi, my name is Ricky Post. I go to Palm Desert Charter Middle School, and I'm in the 6th grade. Today was really fun. One thing I learned was the proper sprinting form. Like when you run, you have the straight back, high knees, and it's just a lot of fun there. I really like it.
My name's James Kane, go to Desert Chapel High School. I'm a sophomore, I weigh 115, wide receiver and corner.
What did you learn today?
I learned that I need to start working harder to get to the next level.
My name's Ashley Tucker Jr. I play QB, I'm 11 years old.
What did you learn today?
I learned today that I have to keep my knees bent, but if I want to throw far, get a short stride, to throw far and keep my hands soft on the ball.
Kyle Edelman, Desert Chapel High School. Height 5'10", weight 150, and position wide receiver and DB. And I play some special teams, do the kick returns and the punt returns. And my GPA is 2.7.
Speed?
Right now it's a 4.5.
Okay,
yeah.
That's good. 4.5 40.
Yes, sir.
And what did you learn today?
Oh, I learned a lot. I learned how to grind, the true grind. Shoot. Shoulders, footwork, hips, all that stuff today. And I'm going to put it into my future.
I'm from Desert Mirage. I play defensive end. My height is 5'9". My weight is 207. And that's it, right?
What did you learn today?
What I learned today, I learned how to work on my speed.
Chris Kane, Desert Chapel, 5'8", 160.
Position?
Position, linebacker, running back, GPA 3.0.
What year?
I was born?
No, we're sophomore, junior.
I'm a freshman.
Freshman, okay. You're up and coming. So what did you learn today?
I learned footwork better. I learned that I'm not conditioned. I have to get better conditioned, and I hope I can see you guys a lot in the year. So.
Coach Bob Losick. I coach at Fenville High School in Michigan. Live in Arizona. Came out here to see what I can learn from Coach Mims.
Coach Mims, how you doing? I'm from Muscles in Motion System, linemanonly.com here on location in Palm Springs, California. We're looking to have a couple of good athletes out here today from Little League to high school. Me and Coach Grant are guests up here of some great guys up here in Palm Springs, and we want to be able to make sure that we keep this relationship going. So if you get this, let us know how you like it and what's going on, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace and blessings. Muscles in Motion System.
From the Camp for Champions, representing from USC, home of the Trojans, 04 to 06, 06 national champions, big defensive tackle here, ready to work. All right.
Chris Aguinaldo, defensive coordinator, Calvary Christian High School, San Diego.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Coach Tucker. I'm with Team Tucker Productions, LLC. We're out here supporting Reginald Grant with his Camps for Champs with esports. I'm excited. We love giving back to the children. We're making scholar athletes out here, giving good instruction, and the best thing that it's all free, it's for the kids. And you know something, Reginald? You're going straight to heaven. God put you together right, man.
Come on, man, this is the good part.
This is the good part. This is what I love doing. I've done it for 27 years now because I have a degree. And I had a job after football was all over. What grade are you?
Fifth, coach. Fifth.
Fifth? Very good.
Sixth.
Six?
Sixth.
10.
Where do you go to school?
Raj.
Excellent.
Sophomore.
Sophomore?
Senior.
Senior. So we've got all the junior high and high school here? Fantastic. Senior where at?
Desmond.
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 You guys on the golf team? I'm the golf coach at Shadow Hills High School. So, coached football at Indio for 15 years, Bloomington High School for 6 years. I'm going to give you a little bit of my background, because especially you got the longest way to go. That's exciting, isn't it? Ninth grade, got a chance to put on a helmet. Out in Redlands, you didn't play. You played flag football up to that point. There wasn't a lot of terrier pups and stuff going on. But by the time you got to ninth grade, it was time to put a helmet on. It took me, I don't know how long. Must have weighed maybe 115 pounds. And that helmet just went all the way around. Had these big things called shoulder pads. You put shoulder pads on yet? Good for you. You're way ahead of the game. Shoulder pads. You guys are all playing, I'm sure. It took me forever to try to keep these shoulder pads from just hitting the bones, because I never lifted a weight in my life. All these bones are clicking. Tried as hard as I could. Tried as hard as I could. As hard as I could. We played 5 games at Cope Junior High School in Redlands. I was 5th string tight end. I was at every practice. My number I got was number 28 because the first baseman for the Dodgers I really liked, a guy named Wes Parker. Yeah, who knows? I wore number 28. Getting used to these pads, I got to play the last 5 seconds of the last game my 9th grade year. One play. I went to practice every day. I walked home and, it was hot and rattling, but you just do what you do. I cried all the way home on the bus. We were 5-0. We were the league champions. I cried. I just like a little baby. But I was looking out the window so nobody would see it. Anyway, so we moved to high school. And back then high school was 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. Played the C high school thing, and they tried me at defensive end once and got kicked out by a fullback, and that didn't work. Let's see how far you can throw the dummy. That's that wide receiver. And give me over on the offensive side of the ball. My dad used to take me out, we'd throw, and I could catch stuff. I knew I could catch because we played a game where he'd throw a ball any which way, a frisbee, anything, any kind of ball, we'd throw it. And if you dropped it, if it was a good throw, it was a point for the other guy. It was just a game my dad and I played. Plus my dad was 6'5", and faster than I was. And when 6'5", 230's coming after you, and you're a little kid, if you've done something wrong, you learn to run real fast. So get to high school. By the time I'm a senior in high school, right? I was playing JVs. Pretty humbling, wasn't it? How'd you like to be playing JVs? Did you already finish your senior year?
No.
Okay, senior coming up?
No, this year.
Okay, well, you don't want to be on JVs, do you? No, no, that's humbling. It is humbling as can be. About halfway through the year, they brought me up to varsity because in Redlands High School back then, the receivers were used to bring the plays in. So you're down on the 1 yard line, and you got, what was the play? Anyway, counting passes, I was done with football. Because I played basketball, I ran a little track in 9th grade, that was about it. I was a golfer, kind of grew up playing that sport. Summertime, we went places, some went on vacation with the family, learned to body surf, that was kind of fun, got on a raft, ate a lot of sand. Did a lot of stuff, played tennis, just did a bunch of stuff. So I'm all done with football. I'm ready to go to San Luis Obispo. I'm going to be a landscape architect. Right? No more football. I'm going to be a landscape architect. San Luis Obispo is where you go to be an engineer or an architect. Right? Then I get a phone call. It's amazing how people will influence your life. People will step in and you never know who it is. God has an amazing plan for you. Always. They will step in and you don't know who it is that's going to touch you. I had no idea I was going to be here today. I'm hoping and yesterday, let me share just a real little segue. 1986, I'm teaching and coaching at Bloomington High School. how long ago was that?
Hey,
I get
that
an
wasn't long.
email from a little guy. I started a track team there. Guy ran track for me, and it says, "Coach, I'm working as a security officer at Redlands East Valley, and I want to. These guys all know you, and they got your email, and I just want to let you know what I'm doing. Maybe we can get together, and I want to influence kids the way you influenced me." Perry Flash Davis. He ran hurdles for me. The most amazing guy. He did not do this trail like this. He brought it underneath, but he's never had some amazing hurdles. This is 1986, 96, 06. This is almost 30 years ago. He remembered me. He remembered me. I can't wait to see him again. He's going to be a grown man. I still have that vision in my mind. You know, next time I see you in the NFL, I'm going to remember. He was sitting right there, and he had short sleeve. But I remember the way Perry ran hurdles, who his best friend was. You know, he had a little lightning bolt, called himself Flash, looked just like that hat. Anyway, so I get a phone call from the head coach at the University of Redlands, which is where I was born and raised. My dad was born and raised there. We just never moved. My grandfather was born and raised there. A guy named Frank Sorrell. And Redlands is a small little private school. It cost $1 million to go to school there. How can we do this? They play NAIA Division III back then. Okay, they don't give any athletic scholarships. All the Letterman jackets look alike. There's nobody with splash anywhere. They just had a maroon arc. That's if you were a 5-year Letterman or 1-year Letterman cross country or the football star, you had the same looking Letterman jacket. Coach Sorrell looks at me and goes, "I think you can still play." I didn't have a real good situation, right? Didn't have those first 4 years of football, the helmet's still spinning around in my head. Oh, good. Crying all the way home on the bus. You know, I did get most improved my senior year. I got a letter finally. Anyway, so I went ahead and played. I said, changed horses in the middle of the string. I said, no more San Luis Obispo. I'm going to go to Redlands, and I'm going to study PE, because I'm looking at all these guys teaching PE, and they're playing games, getting paid for it. I can major in physical education. Oh, this is heaven. I don't have to, this is heaven. I'm going to be a PE major. So I can be just like all these coaches that I see having fun and getting paid. And they're on vacation the same time we are. It's even better. So, freshman year I go out for football. And was a kicker too. I could punt, just do things. I had nothing to do when I was a kid. I'd run around, kick, play, hit golf balls, put a ball on a tee and just kick it through just have fun. And I turned out to be a pretty good punter. I was like third in the nation as far as the average and things. But we had a senior captain that some of these pro scouts were looking at. So it's amazing how, you ever seen dominoes all lined up? If you just hit one, all the stuff had to be aligned, and I guarantee you, no man could have done it. This was definitely some divine intervention. A scout happened to be there looking at Coach Edge, who's now the golf coach, long story short. And they watched a game, and they watched me punt against Cal Lutheran. I had a 77-yard punt. I wrote that down. My name got on a list for a good thing. You always want your names on the list for the good things. Right? I'm the OCS guy over at Shadow Hills High School. That means on-campus suspension. I put my thumb on, when an athlete walks in, boy, I talk to him. I go, you're representing all the people that came before you, of which I represent one. Don't give us other athletes bad names. Anyways, my sophomore year, the coach, I didn't even get a chance to play my freshman year. I played a couple of plays. That was about it. I was a punter. Finally get a chance to start as a sophomore. I didn't even get a number. They just say there were a couple of 88s on the team. I had a number that somebody else had too. Come on, coach. I've been beat up. I just 5-6 years trying to play this game. So they're going to give out individual numbers because they have a few more people on the team now, about 20, 30 people. Coach came to me, how would you like an individual number, like a single digit? That'd be kind of cool. I don't want number 1 because I'm already skinny enough. Maybe look like I'm about this big around. Number 3 was always the quarterbacks in Redlands. How about 2? Back then, remember the Avis commercial, Hertz rent-a-car, number 2 tries harder? 2. I like 2, so I got number 2. And it's kind of fun that, let me see, played 3 years with number 2. Made All-American all 3 years. Decided to run track. But you're talking about basketball. How about track and field? Does football involve running? You think? If you need to run to be, if you're not doing anything in the spring, go run track. Go run track.
Yes, right.
Please run track. I ran track until I was in college. And it turned out to be a 7,000 point decathlete. Didn't know it was in me. So, anyway, 3 years later, was player of the game in the national championship game, All-American in 3 sports. Actually played in a golf tournament right behind Craig Stadler up at Sandpiper in Tate. This is all just pretty fun. All of a sudden, all that work and all that turned into, hey, we won. I never lost a game in college. Pretty fun to go 20-0, 4 straight SCIC championships. NAIA Division III, nobody heard of us. We've never been on TV. I'm sitting there watching number 2 playing for Notre Dame. That's Tom Clements. Wow, look at that. He's got my number. I wish I could be on TV. You know, ESPN wasn't around. Okay, so it's just in the last 30 years, there's been huge boosts. You know, your phone is archaic by tomorrow, right? You buy a new phone and can't get a new one because they're the newest thing. Anyway, it was a different time. It was a different time. You guys watched the, is that a stretch or a question?
Stretch.
How many have NFL channel? Watching the combine stuff all over the place. They're going through all this stuff leading up to the draft. You know, the draft, University of Redlands at that point was already been in existence for 70 years, never had anybody play pro football, much less drafted. Draft's coming up. You know, well, I've had scouts coming out. That's neat. Ran a 4.5 after a game for them. Wow, in pads. That was pretty cool for a 6'4" white guy. And could catch the ball pretty good because Dad taught me. And so, and I had a guy on the team who had a buddy who was an agent down in Orange County because a lot of people come. And he did some research for me. He said, you might go maybe round 9, maybe free agent, give it a try. I said, I'll just teach, you know, just to do what I was going to school. Got my degree, 4 years, got it all done. Go do my PE thing. Anyway, and then May 5th, 1978, May was an amazing month for me. May 5th was the first day of the draft. Back then, after 2 days, there were 12 rounds. Okay, rounds 1 through 6 were the first day, rounds 7 through 12 were the second day. So, and back then they didn't have cell phones. Right? They didn't even have phones in the dorm rooms. What happened? They called the dorm, and if somebody was sitting at the desk, they'd answer it. And if you were one beat, and if your roommate was 2 beats, so they had to actually beep your room if you had a phone call. You run down to the payphone and get it. So I'm sitting around thinking, first day of the draft, going, okay. My dad kind of had a little party he's planning for the next day, just in case. I'm training for the Nationals. Go down to the field, start throwing the javelin around. Okay, not gonna get a call today. The guy on campus that was the biggest jokester, you have somebody in your school that just plays the most pranks in the world. You have one of those. That guy comes running out. I'm out on the track. DeRoo, the Giants called you. You're drafted in the 5th round. I go, shit, right. I kept throwing. Finished my workout, went up there. We weren't kidding. So I call him back, and sure enough, New York Giants drafted me in the 5th round. Okay, still don't know quite what it means. I guess I need an agent. I don't get an agent. Anyway, I wasn't sure if this is something I'm supposed to do. Wasn't that big a deal. It was just what I do. I'm having fun playing a game. I guess I played it pretty well. So I go to the Nationals and finish third in the nation and the decathlon, score 71.09. Come home, and then the Giants fly me out for a mini camp. I saw AstroTurf for the first time. Boy, I'm fast on this. This is fun. I didn't want to fall on it. Giant Stadium was kind of fun. Long story short, still playing 7 years later, got traded to the Colts, thanks to Bill Belichick, who didn't think I could play special teams. that was a fun story. You're gonna see a bunch of stuff on ESPN Classics that has all of us in it.
Classic stuff.
That is. That was fun. The Miracle in the Meadowlands when Herman Edwards picked up that fumble, ran it in. I was standing on the sidelines trying to avoid all the headphones. If you're a head coach, all you have to do is kneel down to win the game, and Pasarchik turns around, reverse pivots, and gives it to Zonka, and Zonka fumbles, and Herman Edwards, and we just lost the game. Yeah, that whole coaching staff got fired, by the way. Anyway, I got a chance to play in the NFL. I got a chance to score a touchdown in the NFL. I got a chance to go up to Canada because the NFL was kind enough to go on strike in 1982 and see a beautiful country up there and play a cool game if you're a receiver. You're running all over the place. I always wanted to line up in the backfield and kind of look like a running back. I never, this isn't a running back. But in Canada, everybody can go in motion at the same time and be running towards the line of scrimmage, so you can't get a jam on anybody. Played up there for 3 years. Retired on my own terms. I'm done. I don't want an injury to cause me to retire. I don't want somebody else to tell me it's time to retire. It was my decision. Went back. Guess what I started doing as soon as I was done? First year on retirement. Talk about how God has some divine intervention. Hopefully, if you don't know him, you'll know him. He said, you're making 6 figures. That's pretty good in 1982, 83, 84. Now you're only going to make barely 4. I worked at Calvary Chapel in Redlands. I was the 7th grade teacher. It was one of the best years of my life. I had 8 girls and 1 boy in my class, and I was the 7th grade teacher. It was a kick in the pants. I coached a little track over at the University of Redlands and just brought me back down and said, boom, humble yourself. You've had some good time. You did good. Now teach somebody else. Anyway, since then, been teaching for 27 years. Coach track, coach football, coaching golf right now. We've won 21 in a row. Coach Shadow Hills, the league. 2.5 years, haven't lost the golf. Anyway, it's not me. It's all the golfers that are out there rocking and rolling. We just got humbled by La Quinta. We're not in the Desert Valley League. We're in the De Anza League. Okay. We played La Quinta, and they went 192 on us. We're up there shooting 230 something. But you know, we're pretty good for our league that we're in. We're going to get better. So I haven't had a chance to coach football in a while. I coached at Indio for about 12 years. I coached at Bloomington with Carl Beach. That was a lot of fun for about 6 years. Y'all know Carl. He's amazing. He's out at JC. Yeah, and I miss it. I miss it. I have 5-year-old twins. Wow. And guess what? I can't wait. I have the job from heaven that most coaches would say. I'm the golf coach. Okay, the golf coach is where all football coaches retire to. And they're all done blowing their whistle, and they can't get around. Actually, I knew it was time to stop coaching when I was playing scout quarterback at Indio, and I'd ride that puppy. Nobody saw that ball. And I was going to boot and get around the corner, and Oscar Lewitt decided, no, you're not. You know who Oscar Lewitt is? Oscar's probably the last guy in this valley did everything right. Goes to SC.
I played with Oscar.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good.
And Lawrence Miles. Lawrence Miles played on the Kington.
He's up there at Stanford.
No, he came from SC.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oscar did everything right. He'd finish practice, he'd go lift. You know, we didn't really have a program, but boy, he'd go do what he needed to do at goals. He did what he needed to do in the classroom. Coach said, scholar athlete, tell you what, are you a competitor?
Yes, Coach.
Are you competitive? You don't like to lose, do you?
No.
I know you don't. You don't like to lose. You guys definitely don't like to lose, right? You take all that competitive ire that you got all building up in you. When you're in a classroom and you get a 90 on a test, and that girl sitting next to you gets a 91, does that kind of tick you off? It should. It should. Take all that, you know, I don't want to lose the race, I don't want to lose this, I don't want to lose whatever it is, and put that to work in your math, in your science, in your history, in your grade point average, in your test taking. GPA is huge. You guys know it already. 9th grade is when it starts. Getting ready for 9th grade is what you're doing. What grade are you? 6. You just went there. 10. The old man will do. Okay. So, anyway, that's just a little bit about where I've come from crying and snot bubbles coming out of my nose in 9th grade to we had a pretty good life. And I'm loving my kids to pieces. My little boy has cerebral palsy. You know what that is? That's a developmental delay. He had a brain bleed and a pulmonary hemorrhage when he was born. And he's still working on trying to eat, see, talk, and walk. But his twin sister, who was born a minute earlier, is fine. She's in her 3rd year at Desert Christian right now. And she hasn't even started kindergarten yet. So she's going to be in kindergarten with 3 years of school under the belt. And my sister looks at her and goes, it's a little you and a female form. I'm still working. My son's going to be something. I don't know what he's going to be, but he's trying as hard as he can. But he talked about, again, just another realization that you got to keep yourself humble. Keep yourself humble. No matter what you've accomplished, no matter what you do, go talk to somebody else about what they do. Let other people tell you how good you are, and then defer it. Okay? Because I'm guessing you, since you're here, you're probably pretty good at what you do, and you're probably going to have some success. Let other people tell you that you're all right, and then just say, thank you. I appreciate the compliment. Now go out and help make somebody else good at what they do. Okay, that's the ultimate team player, which I would love all you guys to turn into be. You're talking about 22 on a squad. Okay, you can't do it by yourself. I didn't do all that stuff at Redlands by myself. I got a whole bunch of teammates that were blocking when I was catching the ball. I had to have that quarterback give me the ball. Okay, that's why you're in a team sport. If you can't handle that team sport concept, go play golf. go be an individual.
Go play tennis.
So I talked long enough, guys. It'll be fun to get to know you and get to know the names and be able to watch the newspaper in the next few years, see where you're going. Right?
They have a design and they have a plan. A winner knows what he wants, and his actions lead him in the direction to what he wants. Losers know what they want, and their actions take them away from everything they want. They're both in motion. They both have mechanisms. One is focused on getting the job done, outworking the other person, competition, being the best they can be, taking responsibility. Yes? Yes. Losers do the same thing. They have a creed. I'm not responsible for anything. It was my mom's fault. It's my dad's fault. I didn't have a dad, so I didn't have anybody to push me. You know something? I couldn't wake up. Nobody woke me up. Nobody told me to do that work. I didn't see that written on the board, so that's why I didn't do my homework. My dog ate my homework. My cat ate my homework. My little brother, sister tore up my homework. You know something? My dog had kittens, and my best friend just had a baby. I couldn't do my homework.
Stop the excuses.
Period. Period. They have an agenda. They each, in their own minds, win at the end of the day. Winners win because we succeed and get to where we want to go. Losers win because they didn't succeed. But they can tell you each and every reason why somebody else didn't help them get their dream. Who's responsible for your dream? Yourself. Who's responsible for your dream?
Yourself.
That's right. And that's why you're here today, and that's why I'm honored to teach you today. I hope you guys have a great day.
I'm actually moving to California. This is one of my biggest hubs, California, Texas, Florida. If you look at some of the top guys, including this guy right here, is my son. He just graduated from the University of Illinois. Just graduated, 6'2", 217 pounds. I've been training him since he was a little guy like y'all. Okay? His name is Ernest Thomas, number 9. Okay? Now, I'm not bragging on him. What I am bragging on is that he graduated in 3.5 years and got his bachelor's. Now, instead of just going to the NFL, he's going to take that extra year and go play one more year at the Illinois, and they're going to pay for his master's. Wow. I'm so excited. I could care less if he go to the NFL. I really could. Because he never gave me this. He never gave me what? What that say? Bingo. That man was just talking about it. I had to blurt it out. I apologize.
I appreciate it.
But I knew what you was talking about. But, you know, I'm excited once again to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys. You know, if it was just one, you would just get that individual. You can't get this. You can't get Oregon. You can't get USC. You can't get 2 or 3 schools in different states. You can't get all these guys that came together. You can't get all this. And once again, we're in the same room. I train like a monster. They call me the loneliest trainer in town. Okay? The reason why is because I go hard. If you call my son and talk to him today, he said, man, he still trained hard. That's why he constantly trained with me. So I love to train. I love to mentor. I love to teach. Because I grew up in Detroit. And y'all saw the movie 8 Mile with Eminem? That movie 8 Mile and Eminem, they did that in Detroit, right? That's the watered down version of Detroit. I grew up on the real 8 Mile, okay? I had real struggles. I grew up in a family of 17. Count it. Who got 17 brothers and sisters? Who? You got 17 brothers and sisters? Yeah. Same mom and daddy? No. Okay. Then I got you. Ain't nothing, and that's serious business, ain't it? How many is it y'all got?
Huh?
How many brothers and sisters?
I got like 18.
18. So y'all know each other, right? Y'all there.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, but it's real life when you got to grow up with that many people. You got so many personalities going around, it's crazy. So out of all them 17, I got a great mother, great father, great sisters, great brothers. But it had to be somebody who was the bad boy. Guess who it was?
You.
Bingo. I was your worst nightmare. If you called my mom and talked to her today, she said, "Oh Lord, have mercy." Because I was a bad boy, you know? And I'm looking at 6 great kids. I don't even know your background. I know you wasn't as bad as I was. So you better straighten up and fly right. That's all. I've been given a chance. I saw it sitting there. I had to point it out. Because I used to read that. That was my sword to keep everybody off me. I had to fight everything off. But I knew that my mother and my father was bringing me up right. I just went the other way. I just went the other way. That happens. So if you're going the other way, don't do it. Don't do it. Listen to your mom and dad. Listen to these guys right here. We extensions of your mother and father. I'm black as the night. But it don't matter. White, black, Puerto Rican, Asian, I love everybody. I treat everybody the same. Nobody different. I got 3 girls, 3 kids in college. 1 in Michigan State, and my son in Illinois, and 1 coming out here to go to Santa Monica. And my other daughter got her own hair salon and works for Ford. So everybody, I'm batting 1,000. I'm living a dream. All my kids are grown, doing great. Now I just want to take all that I got and give it to y'all. Everything I got. You know what I mean? Everything I got, I want to give to you. But you got to be ready to receive it. It ain't going to be real nice and sugar-coated. It's going to be real rough and ragged. Okay? But when you come out, you'll be able to go somewhere. I'm a part of the greatest organization for the last 3 to 4 years that I could ever think of. National Alliance for African American Athletes. And we don't exclude anybody just because the color of your skin or whatever, but we had to come with a purpose for these young men because Jameson Winston, Zach Banner at USC, these kids got 4.0s. One kid last year had a 5.5. I couldn't even imagine. I had a 1 point nothing. I got recruited by UCLA, Michigan, LSU. I was a monster coming out of high school. And I look at these kids with these grades and stuff and say, wow, this is what it's all about. I look at my son graduating 3.5 years, I said, this is what it's about. Something clicked in me and said, man, I gotta just get, I don't care where I go, I gotta get educated now. Now I know how to do it. It's not about football, I gotta get educated. And something clicked, poof, and just chopped on, it just came on. When I saw my mother crying, because I've been kicked out of every school in Detroit, Michigan, from elementary to high school. You can't imagine that. Just get kicked out of elementary school, you got to go to another elementary school. That's crazy, okay? The main thing that I'm trying to say is that I'm excited to be here. I have a journey. Nobody's shoes are the same. Nobody can wear nobody's shoes in here, so you have your own journeys, okay? To be successful, you got to make sure that you do what you need to do. Honor thy mother and father, that your days may be long. Yeah, we rough parents and stuff, but honor thy mother and father. I just met his mother for the first time, and it felt like I've been knowing her a million years. He just introduced me to his mother. I felt like we went to the show. It was great. But that's how life is. You never know who you're going to meet and never know what's going to happen. So I'm excited to be here. If you guys, your parents and kids, friends, tell them y'all missed it. We was in here with greatness. Y'all was in here with the great guys you got up here on this platform here and be in front of you. And I'm excited to be here I'm low on the totem pole. I'm just a regular guy. So y'all have fun.
No doubt. I guess that goes back to, my growing up in football. Son of a Polish immigrant. My father came to this country, went to work in the coal mines in Kansas at age 8. thought that football was the dumbest, stupidest thing that his son could do, but I did it anyway. I started playing football way before your parents were born. My first freshman day was in September of 1959.
Oh, yes.
1959. I had a leather helmet.
Wow.
You still got it? Do you still
Leather helmet. I knew as a son of a Polish immigrant, I was not going to be able to afford to go to college. Just like one of the other coaches. I love football. In fact, you guys need to read Do You Love Football by John Gruden. Great book, super book. I was not very good my freshman year. I played, I started, but I started copying people. I decided that I had one thing that some of the other guys didn't have. I was crazy as hell. And I was willing to sacrifice my body. I was willing to run full speed on a kickoff and blast up the wedge. I could take that enthusiasm and aggression, channel it into doing certain things, and that was hitting people. And one of the things nice about hitting people when you're in high school on a football field, they reward you. They don't lock your butt up. I was fortunate enough to play against the son of a college coach in Michigan. His name was Muddy Waters. He's now in the College Hall of Fame. Great guy. One of the things why I want to come from Arizona here to be with you guys, 6 guys, is because that man saved my butt. Got me back into school after flunking out, after my dad died. He got me a degree. I was going to play in the league. You know, guys my size were playing in the league in 1968. So that was my plan A. Plan B, Muddy Waters took care of it. I want to give back. You play the greatest game in the world. Bar none. Don't let all those people BS you about concussions and injuries. Hey, that right there, my knee has been replaced. My hand's been broken. I've been out several times. Sometimes we're on the football field, sometimes other times. But don't let people discourage you from playing hard. Play hard, go hard all the time, and maybe at age 68, you will still have the passion for the game that I do. Yeah, right. Put everything into everything you do today, because you're going to get better. Thank you.
Mike Davis, played at USC from 04 to 06. Played at Saddleback College right out of high school for 2 years from 02 to 04, or 02, the 02 season and 03 season. And then I started at USC fall of 04. So that first year we won a national championship. We beat Oklahoma. Some of y'all are kind of young, so y'all might have been like 4, 5. This is just on a minor side note. Do any of you guys know what a floppy disk is?
Don't even go there, man. Come on.
Hey, I had my first moment where I felt like what my mom felt like when I first asked her, what is an 8-track? And she was like, she looked at herself and was like, I'm getting old. I was like, I'm getting old. When I asked my little cousin, you know what a floppy disk? She looked at me with a blank stare, just like that. What is that? Never even heard of it. That's so funny. But yeah, you know, young guy, about 29, I turned 30 this year. You know, I graduated in 07, but it seemed like it was just yesterday. And I still do these camps and all that just to really kind of give back to you guys as players. But I feel like the knowledge that we learn as, as trainers, former players, former pro players, that knowledge is very helpful. The sooner you gain that knowledge as a player, the better you are, the better off you are in terms of crafting what kind of career you want to have. You know what I mean? Like Coach said it best when he said there really are winners and there are losers. The excuses, making the excuses, is such a prevalent thing within football. I mean, within all sports, really, within life, period. You'll find out as you guys grow up, you'll find you guys will be successful. You know why I can tell you that? Because you're up at 8:30 on a Saturday. You know what I mean? At this age, like I was saying, I was still eating Fruit Pebbles. We were still asleep, And I mean, that level of dedication, if you guys can translate that to school, and that will also translate to your work ethic. Those type of skills that you're developing will serve you well throughout your life. Football is deeper than just a sport. It's really about life, about creating what kind of man you want to be. When you go to sleep and you envision who you want to be when you grow up, that's what this is all about. It's all about your individual journey. Just one last thing. I played with, my coach was Coach Carroll, and he just won a Super Bowl. And, Coach Carroll taught us a lot of things, but, two things in particular I want to discuss. The idea of competing. So when you think of the word compete, what do you think? Like you, what do you think the word compete at its core means?
Enemies.
Compete?
Yeah.
It means enemies? You? What do you think?
Like, for you, I don't know.
Yeah. You?
To just give you your best.
Give your best?
You too. Give your best.
Give your best?
Take your spot.
Take your spot?
We're gonna compete. Like give it your all at that one point. Yeah.
It's for such a. How many of you have heard the word compete before? How many of you, while playing your sport, have any of your coaches ever told you to compete? Yelled at, compete, something, anything like that? Yes? No? Yeah? But have you ever really sat down and thought about what the word means? Have any of you ever looked it up in the dictionary? So, with Coach Carroll, the definition of compete was not to necessarily just give it your all. It was about winning every day. So how does that translate, right? He has a slogan called Win Forever. And what that really means is like winning every day in every facet of your game. Now as an athlete, your mind, body, and spirit. So that means to truly compete, to truly give it your all, you have to be being the best you can be in every facet of your life for it to translate into you winning forever, winning every day, winning every play, winning every inch, every line, every tackle. That's the goal. You see what I mean? Now, it seems like much bigger than it really is. But when you really think about it, if you just concentrate every time you're doing something as minor as doing your homework to as big as, fourth and one on the, goal yard line. You got, you're trying to make your middle linebacker and you got to make a play. It's the same energy. And what you're trying to do is get yourself in the habit of winning forever, winning all the time, no matter what you do. That is the true essence of competing. That's what he instilled in us as players. And I mean, I think you guys saw it come to fruition this past year when they won the Super Bowl. Every year, if you watch the Seattle Seahawks, I don't know how deep you guys are in the football, the progression was pretty much the same like it was for us at USC. Every year, we got an inch closer, an inch closer, an inch closer until we finally won. And that's how, when you truly compete throughout your life, that's how things go. I'm just gonna close it out. When you're truly competing, you know, we want you guys to win, but and you talk about there's winners and losers, right? Well, within any sport, the fact is at some point you're gonna lose, right? I mean, you can't win every game, can't win every championship, but it's about having a short-term memory and learning from those losses and those experiences so that you can win again. Even if you lose, you still win. You find a way to win. You look for whatever opportunities you can take out of that loss that will help you win the next day. We used to call it having a short-term memory. So we used to do this thing where, like, you know, we would tape all our practices and we would watch practice the next day of ourselves. And basically, you know, you can imagine, you know, what your practice looks like when you first start playing, right? So imagine if somebody had a camera on you every day and, you know, they showed that to your whole team. So now it's not just you knowing you messed that play up. It's now your whole team sees it and everybody's laughing at you and calling you out and this and that. And, you know, you could be sensitive about it, or you could have a short-term memory about it, learn from it, and grow from it. And that's, you know, at the core, that's what we're all about. That's what we're talking about. We want to teach you guys how to compete at the next level, you know? All right, Fido?
Okay. I don't have their experience. I went to a school that wasn't a football school. It was Cal State University of Long Beach. I did, however, major in condensed matter physics. Any of you guys play, watch The Big Bang Theory? I did. The wonderful thing about that show, and I can honestly tell you, it allows nerds like me to come out and be cool again. Now, since I didn't go through, football was enough of an impact on me when I was in high school, and I kept learning the sport. I learned it in between figuring out how atoms come together, how particles come together, how they shoot through matter. I learned football, and I applied that to launching satellites into orbit. Okay, the trajectory is almost the same. The physics is always going to be the same. When I got out and when I finished, I went into coaching, and I loved it. And I thought about angles and impacts, the inertia of somebody climbing into somebody else.
Man, explain what inertia means, man. Come on,
inertia. Moving from one motion to the other without any resistance. Okay, that's what inertia means. I'm sorry. So anyway, long story short, I remember formulas and theories like you wouldn't believe. I see things that happen, and I automatically have an equation for it. It's just how my mind goes. Just because you play football doesn't mean you have to be a dumb guy. I can tell you that right now. He's such a part of it. So go on and strive. I can tell you this because I was one of those guys right out of college, and I was sitting in a lab at the Jet Propulsion Labs in Pasadena, and I was designing an armature for a Mars lander that I saw work 10 years later. It's a great feeling. Something you need, something you like, something that nobody can ever take back from you. People that you would meet along the way, something like that. So that's essentially the only thing I can really give to you, other than I have put a few people at Southern Cal. And Stanford and all the other Pac-12 schools. But keep working at it. Okay?
I coach basketball most of the time because I play basketball. Anybody here play basketball? See, look at this. And this is what I did in high school. I played basketball. I got a state ring playing basketball. Okay? But I'm gonna tell you something different between football and basketball because I learned to love football now as well as basketball because you get more kids in college in football, you get more people on the field than you do in basketball. In basketball, you're gonna have 5 people on the court at one time. In football, you got at least 22. Because in college, you're going to have 11 on one side of the ball and 11 on the other side of the ball. Plus you have special teams. So you're going to have more kids on the field. So me coaching basketball my whole life, I'm coaching my kids up. And they got to where they hated basketball because I loved it so much. So they got into football. So as they started getting into football, I started to migrate and learn football. So for the past 14 years, I've been coaching basketball along with coaching football because that's what they're doing. I got a son that right now is in Division II college football playing quarterback, and he should be here probably about noon today. But like I said, when I learned about basketball, he wouldn't have went nowhere in basketball. And all the kids that played on our travel basketball team, you know how I remember Palm Springs? I came here 6 years ago for a travel basketball tournament. And everybody on that travel basketball team are Division I recruits. If you heard the recruiting sign, they look these kids up. Jonathan Lockett is now at USC, playing football, not basketball. Tyler Tua, #1 rated tight end in the country, is now going, I think, to Notre Dame on a scholarship. Chandler Lanou is going to Cal. He had 120 tackles last year playing football. And anybody know anything about high school football? That's a lot of tackles. He had 120 tackles last year playing football. But what I'm trying to tell you is football is a better avenue to get you to that next level, which is college, because you get more kids in and more kids out. So the key is you become a scholar athlete. Scholars first. If you don't get your grades, you go nowhere. They may love you to death, but you're going nowhere. I got a couple of kids that have to go to the JC in order to get out because they didn't get the grades. And when they talk about excuses, I got a story about excuses because I've learned this the hard way, and I teach my son this. Successful people don't have excuses. They get it done. So all the excuses you be blurting out add up to nothing. The successful people are the ones who don't have no excuses. Because when you go ask them, what happened, all they're going to say is, I won. The person with the excuses is the one who comes in second. Oh, well, man, I tripped over it. No excuses. Michael Johnson set the world record running a 200, and he stumbled out the blocks. If anybody knows who's Michael Johnson, I'm sure you guys know who Usain Bolt is, though. He was a sprinter, Bolt. Okay. Before there was Bolt, there was Michael Johnson. And Michael Johnson set the world record, and he stumbled out the blocks. And you heard nothing about him stumbling. All he knows was, I won. Okay, so you guys can be winners by getting your grades and working hard on the field to get to that next level. Because all you guys have an opportunity at this age, if you work hard enough, to go to the next level, which is high school and then college. Okay? And when you get your degree, you win. Now, if you're fortunate enough to go on to the next level, but that degree will last you a lifetime. Remember that. Okay, so you guys go out there, and we expect you guys to work hard and go on and do what you're supposed to do, because you got the best of talent. Teaching, former pro players, former college players, former coaches that are going to teach you the best things to do, and it's going to help you in your forthcoming season. Okay, so I'm going to shut up and let the next person talk, because I've said enough.